Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Simone Vincenzi Talks Business, my daily show where I talk about the plus and the minus, the left and the right, and all the things that I do while building our companies here at GTeX. And today I want to talk about three things. Number one, we're going to talk about fostering and building relationships. Number two, we are going to talk about what not to sell right now. And number three, we are going to talk about actually what to sell and what people buy. These are the three things we're going to talk about. And now I want a special thank you to Scott Oldford for inspiring this episode, Action Jackson, and as well my good friend Steve Beckles-ebusua. Now, I was having a few calls today. That's why I'm going to talk about building relationships, because there were a few people that I haven't touched base with in a while. People that have been really influential in my growth, in my journey. And these two people are Action Jackson and Steve Beckles-ebusua. Now, Action Jackson was the person that was running the event where I did my very, very, very first speaking gig. I remember that was about 8 years ago, or 7 years ago, I think 7, 8 years ago. I was terrified. There were about 200 teachers in the room, and Action Jackson was moderating that event. And we were talking today, in fact, while we were catching up, about how much respect we have for each other, because we both know where we started. We both know each other very well. We both saw each other from, he's been in business for way longer than me, but both saw each other really. He saw me at the beginning of my career. I got to know him and understand where he came from. So there is this deep, deep respect that we have for each other. And that made me think about as well, like building a relationship and keep nurturing relationships with people that meant something for your journey, meant something in your life. Now, one was Action Jackson, and the other person is Steve Beckles-ebusua. Steve was one of my very first speakers mentor. I remember I was carrying his bags while he was going into schools. He's an incredible speaker for corporate and schools, and while I was training and learning about public speaking, literally I was carrying his bags, helping him out during his sessions, and understanding how would he run, how would he facilitate the session, how would he engage a class of young people and students in a masterful way. That's why we're talking today as well. And we mentioned plans that we have for the future, the launch of online programs, what the future of the speaking industry also would look like. I think that came because I was like, there are people in your life that made you who you are, that maybe gave you an opportunity, that maybe meant something for your growth and development. Now, right now is a great time, I think, to get in touch, to rebuild that relationship. Of course, if there are people that still mean to you and you still want to build a relationship or keep the relationship with them, there might be some people that you say, no, they are part of the past. I don't want to have any more to deal with those. But think about, what are a couple of people that maybe you can reach out to, that met something, that did something for you? Touch base. You never know. The second thing I want to talk about is actually what not to sell and what to sell in this moment in time. I had many conversations and I watched a lot of trainings recently. There is a particular person that I follow. I love his work. It's called Scott Oldford. And he's a great online entrepreneur. I really love his style. And he was talking about few things to sell and few things not to sell. One of the things that he mentioned not to sell right now is memberships and membership program. Now, that makes sense. If you are in a period of, can be maybe a recession coming soon, don't know for sure, but that's very likely where we are heading. By the way, I'm not an economist, so I'm staying away from the things I don't know. But the first thing that people are cutting in a moment of crisis are subscriptions. They look at their bank account and they see, what subscription can I cancel? So launching something that is based on a subscription model right now doesn't really make sense. And I was having a conversation with my wife, and there are a few people that I know, and they are wanting to launch, for example, membership programs. Now, what happens if you're launching right now, in this moment, something that is indefinite, so as a membership program, like you can cancel at any time, what happens is that that's the first thing I'm going to cancel, because I'll be staying there for a month, but it's up on my priority list not to create recurring expenses. What people do in this kind of times, they cut on their expenses. So they will stop any possible recurring expenses that is not relevant for them. They might keep Netflix, they might keep Spotify, but unless it's really helping them in their business, in their life, in their organization, what are they going to do? Chop. So what he mentioned in the training, which also made sense, that's why I wanted to share it with you, is that what would sell more is actually a finite program for a few reasons. And that was my reasoning behind this. When you sell something which is finite, that at the start and an end, you give certainty and security. What do people buy right now? They are going to buy certainty and security. In a moment of craziness, in a moment where everyone is going cuckoo, in a moment where everyone has their ground shaken from their feet, then they need certainty, they need stability. And something that doesn't have an end doesn't give certainty and stability. So that's why if you're selling something, make sure that he has a starting point, that he has a finish point, and that has really tangible outcomes. So what is that I'm going to get? And even if you're selling something that is related to mindset, if you're selling something that is related to business, make sure that it has a start and an end and really specific achievable outcomes that people can see. Because now, if I'm where I'm evaluating, where to spend my time, where to invest my money, where to learn and to grow, I'm going to gravitate naturally, and people are naturally going to gravitate in this period in time towards the most secure element. So after watching the training from Scott Oldford, I decided to think a bit more about the why those kind of programs would sell more, what kind of programs would sell less. And definitely, if you're thinking about launching something which is a membership with recurring things, rather package it in a program that has a start and an end. It can be even if it's a year, and is a year program, and they will still pay monthly. Do that. It will sell more than something, hey, you can start and then cancel at any time. Because that might be the first thing that someone that has maybe a problem in their finances or something, a change of priority, is the first thing they're going to cut. Because they don't have any tie-in, any end in mind, any specific outcome that they want to achieve. So therefore, it's going to be the first thing that is going to be cut. So this is what to sell, this is what not to sell, and make sure that in everything you do, and this is something that I've learned recently, when we change the page as well of our Profile Builder program, and we tuned in, making sure that we were talking about security, stability, how more certain their business will be, how more certainty they will give to their audience, then we had a huge spike in sale of the Profile Builder program. Which, by the way, if you haven't applied yet for the Profile Builder program, which we are launching right now, make sure that you check the link. It's going to be in the comments. Check it out. I would love to work with you and help you build your profile. So now, that's all for me. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening, wherever you are listening from. And if you have any question, feel free to post a comment below. Let me know what you think, whether it's on your favorite podcasting platform or whether it's on YouTube, whether you're watching live right now, wherever this is broadcasted. But thank you very much for being here for another episode of Simone Vincenzi Talks Business. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for another brand new episode. Have a fantastic day. Ciao.